This is our video number 2 for this Thermal Care 10-ton inverter variable speed chiller. Just gonna close the cabinet and get her going. We did put the side covers on. You do need the side covers on when you run the unit, otherwise you'll go into a high pressure refrigerant alarm because you're not getting enough airflow through the condenser coils. So this is our default screen. There's a lot of information and options here, but we're just going to start first at this default screen here. This is the main menu. The two main menus are the main menu and then home. This is our home. We're going to go right to the set point. We have it high because we've been running it to get a little bit warmer. And we're going to press the set point right there. Password for user accessible parameters is 9999, 4 nines. Okay, and we're going to change the set point down to 28 degrees Fahrenheit. We're running 40% glycol in the shop, by the way. Enter. Okay, then we're going to go to the green button here. Start the chiller. And that starts our pump. And there's going to be some type of delay or so before we hear the compressor turn on. But just a slight one in this case. That very slight noise that you hear, that's the compressor running already, which is amazing. This here is a little tachometer essentially, showing us that the compressor is running about 1800 RPMs, which is not much demand. Some of the items you see here: electronic expansion valve, hot gas bypass, position, suction pressures, suction temperatures. Many of these things you shouldn't have to check, but everything's adjustable. I'm going to go back to menu here. Hey Dana, can you plug in that air handler while I'm taking this video? Sorry about that. We're going back to our main menu here. We can go into alarms, alarm history, alarm setup. This gives you different type of parameters as far as over temperature, under temperature, and deviation. Probably won't have to mess with that. We got our freeze stat alarm. If the glycol were to get down to 15, that's really not appropriate. An alarm will go off, and then the alarm would reset itself once we get 5 degrees above that parameter. Go back to our home screen here. Menu. Limits and timers. We got a bypass timer for low and high temperature, bypass timer for low flow. We have a low limit, lowest set point of 20, and currently a high limit of 80. We could actually change those. Just as an example, if I press that 20 there, that's probably a technician level password, which should be 1987. So you got two passwords, 9999 and 1987. 1987. Enter, and I could go in there and I can change that. But I like 20. You can hear this noise like an airplane taking off. That's basically the compressor ramping up a bit. We'll go back to the home screen. And you can see right now I got a load. We plugged in our air handler. So now it's running at the full 6,500 RPMs while we're dropping temperature down. Right now our process supply temperature, you can see, is 65-ish, and the return is 56-ish, delta T of 8. That's actually a pretty good delta T for such a, for our test parameters right now. It'll probably drop the temperature pretty quickly. What else we got here for some screens? We have, well, we got the whole drive system, shows all the different parameters here. shouldn't have to mess with that, but if you're ever on the phone with the thermal care technician, we have all these parameters here you can work with. Pumps, it just shows you system on, pumps on, process okay. What's this one? Oh, that's just the full screen. If that's probably a good one just to leave, you know, during the day while the chiller's running, so you can glance at it. Compressor staging. That's actually showing you when we kick in and kick off. We currently have 3 degrees below set point and 2 degrees above set point for the differential. I wouldn't go much tighter than that. You can with this type of compressor, but in a brewery batch cooling environment, I don't think you're going to find that's needed. I suggest try just leaving at these settings that we have in it already. Hot gas bypass, we have it in manual mode. We have it basically at the 0 number right here. We could go in and check and change that. We firmly believe the hot gas bypass is ideal for warmer running temperatures in a non-batch cooling environment. We rarely, if ever, see it really needed for a brewery glycol chiller. So we're going to ship the hot gas bypass at 0. If we kick it up, basically the compressor would never turn off. We'll constantly be running and trying to adjust to maintain a tight temperature tolerance, which you really don't need for this application. This is kind of cool. Refrigeration drawing. Shows you our suction pressure, refrigerant pressure, discharge pressure. That's, you know, makes sense for this type of refrigerant. But if you ever have a tech come in and he hasn't seen one of these, he'll be completely blown away at all the information that's available here. Process, tank, pump. This is the one thing, I guess, that's really not perfectly accurate now because we modified this as far as just this cartoon or drawing. But we've got these 2 temperature transducers. These are still accurate. You can hear the RPMs lowering now as the load is getting less or as we're getting closer to set point. Full. Oh, that was pretty quick. So you can hear the RPMs ramping down again. So set point 28. This rate of cooling will probably slow as we get closer to the set point, and we should go a couple degrees or 2 like I showed you in that prior screen below set point. We've been running this thing, by the way, for a week or so, adjusted a few things, but again, a real impressive piece of machinery. And the fans also that are running up above here, these are also variable speed. RPMs will continue going down here. Yeah, and that's about what we said. Compressor's off. So that about does it for our runoff video here. We have, this is our coil side. Came with some coil screen protectors. But we're going to post our video and start crating this and get it ready for its next home in beautiful Halifax, Nova Scotia. Is that correct? Thanks. This is Scott from KIG. Our website's kigsales.com.